Hello there everyone, my name is Nathan Birch. Today we're going to go through the Lesson 1 Class 2 exercise. Okay, so I just downloaded that, and then I'm going to open it up in my downloads. I'll just unzip this. On a Windows machine, you'll have to right click on that or open it up, and there'll be an icon at the top that says extract all files. That's what you'll want to click on. Okay, once it's here, activity2.html, I just want to drag this over into VS Code. So I have my lesson 1, I have my class 1 file. I'll go ahead and just set this on top, and that'll make it really easy to just drag it over here onto lesson 1. Okay, I'll go ahead and rename this to be class 2, just so it matches my other one. And so if we look at this, we have a bunch of CSS. Down here we just have a bunch of divs separating this. We have wrap, which is going to say how wide we want our page to be, and it's going to center in the browser. And then we have header, content, sidebar, clear, and footer. And then if we look up here, we have wrap. It's going to be 980 pixels wide. This zero auto says there will be no margin on top or bottom, and it'll be centered. Okay, the margin on the left and the right will be equal to each other. Header will be 140 pixels tall, with 15 pixels of space on the bottom and green. The content will be 690 pixels wide and 450 pixels tall, which matches the sidebar. Let's go ahead and just look at this. I'll just open this up with Live Server. Okay, and here's what we have. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at, try to add content to the different sections. So we'll go ahead and add two things. I'm going to go to this main content section, and I'll just add a couple of paragraphs. I'll say, hi there, copy and paste that a couple of times so I have 3 paragraphs. And so if I save that, you can see now I have a couple of paragraphs right there. Okay. Now there isn't any spacing around them. If I wanted to add spacing, I could do that by simply adding padding to each one of these. So if I said class inner padding, and then up in here, I could say inner padding, and then we'll go ahead and say this one has padding of 15 pixels. Okay, and then this first paragraph has some nice padding there. Okay, these other paragraphs don't because they don't have this class applied. I could apply this to every single one, like this, and then they'd all look nice. Or instead, I could just make a separate div, and then move these classes into that div, or move these paragraphs into that div, and just give the div a class of inner padding. Okay, if I do that, then I'm not going to have padding between the paragraphs, which I didn't want in the first place. And instead, I'll just have padding around all 3 paragraphs, like that, which looks really nice. Okay, let's look at our next thing here, modify the CSS. So the footer is shorter. Okay, so I just come up into the footer and say, hey, let's make that 20 pixels instead of 70. And you can see now our footer is nice and short. Okay, and then the sidebar, so it's wider. So if I wanted to make this wider, let's say I wanted to make it like 475, with this 475, and then I need to take 200 pixels off of the content width, because that's where the space is going to come from. Okay, this is what it looks like now. I'm just going to collapse this a little bit just so we can see what happens when I save it. You can see it moved over 200 pixels. Okay. Stretch challenge, add a right-hand sidebar to this layout. Well, let's give it a shot. So I'm going to make another class. It says right sidebar, and I'll say width is 200 pixels. We'll say float left. This will be a little bit tricky because we're going to need this to float left as well. And yeah, let's try it. We'll say let's have that float left. Margin padding. Right sidebar, let's put height on there, and this background color on there. Okay, let's add a div. Let's see if that's going to work. I'll just copy that, and I'll say right sidebar, and then I want to put this sidebar before this content, and I'll hit save. So that didn't work out too nicely. It might be because our content is too wide. So I made the right sidebar 200 pixels. Let's go ahead and make this sidebar 200 pixels as well. So those will both be 200 pixels. And then the content, let's see, our total width is 980, but we will have some margin between them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say margin left is 15 pixels. And this one will have margin left as well, just to give them that space. And so we have 200 and 200, so that's 480 minus 30 is 450. So we'll make this content 450. Okay, so we have to adjust that spacing just a little bit. It looks like my math was off, but we successfully have these 3 sections. Okay, let's see here. And that was it. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful walking through this. I'll go ahead and upload this so you guys have this code. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.